Hi, this is Adam from MakerState, and I'm back with another Scratch Skills video. In this video, we're going to talk about adding backdrops to our projects. And again, backdrops are just the background images for our projects. They represent the setting or the space in which our project is taking place. And we can add them and manage them through this bottom left portion of the screen here where we see the word stage, one backdrop, and new backdrop. And below new backdrop, we have 4 icons which represent the 4 options for adding a new backdrop, which are similar to the 4 options we have for adding a new sprite. But it's very important to note the difference between these 4 icons for adding a new backdrop and these 4 icons for adding a new sprite. Sprites and backdrops share some qualities and some characteristics, but it's important to make sure you're using a backdrop when you want to use a backdrop and using a sprite when you want to use a sprite, because there are some important things that are not the same about them. So anyway, those 4 options for adding a new backdrop down here on the bottom left of the screen are choosing a backdrop from the library, painting a new backdrop, uploading a backdrop from a file or from an image that you've downloaded, or using the camera to capture a background. Okay, so the leftmost option and kind of the quickest option is adding a backdrop from the library, and so I've clicked that, and now we see the backdrop library with all the different options for the different backdrops we can upload, at least the ones that Scratch gives us. So we have some nature scenes and some other sorts of scenes, and we can sort these by category or by theme, and in general these are all sorted alphabetically. So if I find a backdrop I want to pick, like this desert, I can just click on it and then click OK, and it will be added to my project. At which point we see this center tab here switch over to this backdrops area, in which I can see all of my backdrops. So I still have this original blank white backdrop that we started on, and now I've also added a desert backdrop to that. I can also add a new backdrop using the paint tool. So if I click on the paintbrush, I see a third backdrop up here, similar to this white one that we started with. And now I'm in the paint tool, and there's a lot of different things I can do to paint this, but I'm just going to pick some colors quickly, maybe do a nice little gradient. And we have more videos that focus on how to use the paint tool, but here I'm just going to really quickly do a nice little fill. Oh, I want it to be this one. Like so. Here's a little gradient for my backdrop. That looks nice. So now I have, if I click on the backdrops, all 3 of my added backdrops. Now I can also add a backdrop from a file that I've downloaded. So if I click on this option, I have a picture of New York City that I just downloaded that I'm going to use. And if I open that, now I have my image added, and it's not fitting quite right, and I'm just going to quickly use this select tool right here to take this space of New York City and stretch it out a little bit, and that's pixelating a little bit and not looking so great. But for different images, sometimes you'll have to resize them like this, sometimes you won't. I'll do another video on the specifics of adding images to Scratch and ways to make sure that you're getting images that are going to look nice, and how to use the paint tool to edit those images if you want to. But so there's just a quick example. Finally, we can add a new backdrop by clicking on the camera, and let's see if this works. Oh yeah, so here I am with my web camera, and if I wanted to just get kind of like a shot of my bedroom. So now if I wanted to, I could use this picture of my bedroom as a background. Not the most exciting backdrop for a Scratch project, but maybe it could work. Either way, I'm just going to delete this version right now, which is a good time to mention. I can delete any backdrop by clicking on this X right here for any of these. And so now here I'm left with my 3 other backdrops. Okay. And we can write different scripts to switch between these backdrops. That's probably the proper way to use all of these in a project. We're going to get to that in a later video when we're talking more about scripts and using these different blocks. But for now, that should get you started with adding backdrops to your Scratch projects. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you check out the next one. Bye.